best 60 minutes of your day, the busiest 60 minutes of your day. And yes, the Brewers won. That would be 2 in a row after having the worst start in the history of baseball. And they did what has been asked for a long time and is not done often enough, bunting to win the game. Now, generally, bunting is no longer a part of baseball because, correctly, the analytics have proven you don't bunt because it takes away the potential of a big inning. However, in this situation, in extra innings, you don't need a big inning. You just need a run. Fabulous bunt. Brewers won. And they might prove how good you can be after you have the worst start in the history of baseball for 4 games. So they won 1-800-990-3776. That is for Rain Man. Wednesday, we have the Rain Man competition. It goes until the end of June. 1-800-990-3776. Caller number 5. And the great partners for Rain Man, of course, Cousin Subs, because even if you stink, you get a $25 gift card just by being the 5th caller. There's no easier contest in the world. And if you win the contest, you will get Cousin Subs for a year if you have the most correct answers at the end of June when the competition ends. And if you are tied, as has happened the last 2 contests, we randomly will pick of the people that are tied. Right now, we do have a tie at 7, but I don't think that that's going to last. Usually, you've had to go into double figures at one point. So, want to thank Cousin Subs, 1-800-990-3776, for being the great sponsor and providing, in addition to the winning award, the fact that they've decided to be so nice as to give a $25 gift card, even if you don't get anything right. I attempted to set some standard, and Pebble, I don't know what they told me, but didn't they say you can't do that? You can't. You
can't rank them based on how they do.
Right. So, like to me, you would need 3 to get a $25 gift card.
That's not in the.
If you get 0, 1, or 2, you get a autographed Homer photo.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not in the ESPN Wisconsin.com rules.
So that's how it works. We have Danny in Milwaukee. We'll get to him, and he automatically gets a $25 gift card. So he has to answer all 15 questions, right? He can't just hang up.
Well, he has to answer 15 questions in 2 minutes, depending upon if he gets through all the questions in 2 minutes.
There is something required of him. We just can't get his name, and he says, "Hi, I'm Danny in Milwaukee. Give me the $25 gift card."
Which I'm not getting his info until after the contest is over. So
that's why you're the man in charge. So we have Cousin Subs and also Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service, and I have added, been doing it well for over 50 years. That's how they can be so good. Can get complicated, employee benefits, that whole line of work, not for Saganiac Planning, not when you've been doing it well for over 50 years. And a phone number you can remember, 783. That's all you need to do, 783. Why? Because it's Saganiac Planning, 262-783. Roger Maris, 6161.
That number again, 262-783-6161.
And it is time to get to, did I see that they were talking about there are some people in baseball that would like Mark Antanasio as the next commissioner of baseball?
Really?
I'll have to see the accuracy of that. I don't have any problem with that. 1-800-990-3776 for questions later on the show with Jason Wilde and Tim Van Vorn. Danny in Milwaukee, you're on 94.5 ESPN. Your Rain Man resume, please.
First time.
Oh, Pebble, help him out.
So you got 15 questions in 2 minutes. Got to get through all of them. So if you don't know the answer, say skip or pass. Homer will come back to it. So don't dilly-dally on any questions. Otherwise, you're going to run out of time. The goal is to get through all 15 questions in the 2 minutes.
We have 2 at 7, correct?
2 at 7. Joe in Milwaukee and Josh in Jackson.
Mm-hmm. Have you listened to Rain Man before, Danny?
I have, yeah.
So you know how it works then. You also know the
Yeah.
first question is the Saganiac Planning Marquette trivia question, because Saganiac Planning has been a phenomenal support of Marquette for many, 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 many years. Probably could use the 61 for that. How many years has Saganiac Planning been a great supporter of Marquette? Probably 61 years. The first question is the Marquette trivia question from Saganiac Planning. You ready to go?
I am.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Marquette player who scored 6 points for Phoenix against the Bucks last night.
Oso Iguodaro.
Correct. He is the head coach of Florida in the Final Four.
Pass.
What Final Four men's coach was an assistant with the Bucks in 2008 to 2011?
Pass.
What Final Four men's coach in high school played horse against the Cubs announcer Pat Hughes?
John Shire.
Correct. How many Division II national titles for Bruce Pearl at Southern Indiana?
1.
Correct. Name the 2 Bucks head coaches to win NBA titles.
Mike Budenholzer and Larry Costello.
Correct. NBA record, 100 points in a regular season game by Wilt. Who is next with 81?
Kobe Bryant.
Correct. Who is next with 78 in a game?
Pass.
What current player is next with 73 in a game?
Luka Doncic.
Correct. What current Bucks player is at 71 in a game?
Giannis.
Incorrect. Of the top 8 single game points, 100 to 72, how many of the 8 belong to Wilt?
2.
Incorrect. Only NFL player with 15 Pro Bowl selections.
Pass.
Good luck. One of the 3 non-quarterbacks to be All-Pro selection exactly 14 times.
Pass.
Pro Football Reference says this current NFL quarterback, the best ever, career 68.6 completion percentage.
Aaron Rodgers.
Incorrect. What Packer quarterback once told me, never underestimate your own ignorance?
Aaron Rodgers.
Incorrect. What Final Four men's coach was an assistant with the Bucks 2008 to 2011? And we're out of
Kelvin
time.
Sampson.
That is correct. Is that in or not, Pebble? Because that gives him 7 if it's in.
I think it's in.
All right.
Yeah.
Duly noted. In. Kelvin Sampson is correct. Passed on before. I do have 7 now. Do you have the 7 as well? We'll go through.
I have
and make
7
sure.
as well, yeah.
All right. Marquette player scored 6 points for Phoenix against the Bucks last night. Yes. Oso Iguodaro. He is the head coach of Florida in the Final Four. Tell him, Pebble.
Todd Golden.
Todd Golden is correct. And you mentioned the Final Four men's coach was an assistant with the Bucks 2008 to 2011. Yes, Kelvin Sampson. And yes, Final Four men's coach in high school played horse against Cubs announcer Pat Hughes, and Hughes used to beat him on a regular basis, I think. I didn't add that part. How many Division II national titles for Bruce Pearl at Southern Indiana? 1 is correct. 2 coaches that won titles, Larry Costello and Mike Budenholzer. All right, here we go. 100 points by Wilt. Next, 81 by Kobe. Who is next with 78? Pebble.
Jordan?
Whenever you don't know, who do you guess? Wilt again.
Chamberlain?
Yes. Wilt, 100 Wilt, 81 Kobe, 78 Wilt. What current player is next with 73? Luka Doncic. This one, Danny. What current Bucks player is at 71 in a game? It's not
Dame.
Giannis. Yep, Damian Lillard, back when he was with Portland. And let's see if Pebble can get this one. These are a couple of tough ones. Of the top 8 single game points, 100 to 72, how many of the 8 does Wilt have?
6?
5. You have Kobe Bryant, you have Luka Doncic, and I'm missing somebody else. Oh, David Thompson is also at 73. We can get to it.
Or David Thompson? Okay.
Yes. Only NFL player with 15 Pro Bowl selections.
Tom Brady?
Tom Brady is correct. This, I'll give you double points. Incredibly hard. Non-quarterbacks to be a Pro Bowl selection exactly 14 times. Name any of the 3.
Oh, man. Non-quarterback.
Tight end, offensive lineman, and defensive lineman.
Antonio Gates?
Antonio Gates, no.
No.
Tony Gonzalez.
Tony Gonzalez.
And which one was Clay Matthews' dad?
Bruce Matthews.
Bruce Matthews, 14 times. And Fearsome Foursome, famous TV actor as well. I think he's from Utah State. We'll have to look this up. Older than me. He's dead. 14 times. He had to be picked every year he was in. Merlin Olsen. What did he play in? Little House on the Prairie, or what was his, who was he?
Yeah, he's from Logan, Utah.
Logan. Where did he go to college? Am I right? Utah State?
He went to Utah State.
And what are his TV? Was he...
let's see. He was on...
He played some...
Petticoat Junction. Yeah, it was Little House on the Prairie.
Little House on the Prairie. And then after that, he played some character. What did he do after Little House
He
on
was
the
Carter Country in 1977, it says here.
Nah, I could
Highway to Heaven.
Yeah. All right. This one is unbelievable. Pro Football Reference says this current NFL quarterback, best ever career, 68.6 completion percentage.
Joe Burrow?
Joe Burrow is correct. You know who's number 2? Tua.
Tagovailoa.
And you have to have a certain number of completions, et cetera, and so they've played enough. And Pebble will get this right. What Packer quarterback once told me, never underestimate your own ignorance.
Bart Starr?
Lynn Dickey. I like Lynn Dickey. I went home and told my wife, I hope they break both his effing legs. No one in my life to that age, and I don't have to think how old is 80, whatever, had ever called me stupid. They'd called me ugly and many other things, but never stupid. So we have since become friends, but at that time, it was after I stopped the recorder because he was swearing, and I said, he goes, well, what do you stop the recorder for? That's what the media does. They do whatever they want. They don't even care. I said, I wasn't going to play those words. Now I would, but at the time, and so that's why I stopped it. He goes, we'll never underestimate your own ignorance. Jerk. Anyway, so I then did an event for cystic fibrosis that I didn't know he was there, and they asked me about players, and I said that I just admire the players. They're unbelievable. A guy like Lynn Dickey, basically has no legs, and he could get killed any game, and he's fearless out there, and mentioned some of the others, and I didn't know he was in the back, and he came up and said, I was maybe a little mean to you. But anyway, so then played golf with him a few times. He's a great guy, but yes, never underestimate your own ignorance. All right, so we're at 7. Now we have a 3-way tie.
Correct, yes.
Yeah, which means, Danny, that you cannot participate until someone beats 7. Someone beats 7, then you're back in and can give it another shot. For the first time, outstanding performance. Are there any that you wish you had gotten right, which you didn't?
I think the Dame one came to me right after.
Yeah. Yep. And he didn't do it with the Bucks, but yes. 71.
Yeah.
81 by Kobe, but Wilt Chamberlain, 178. Then there are 3 others, 72 or more. 5 of the top 8. Wilt Chamberlain. Jason Wilde, next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN.
Eastbound 94 still dealing with an accident right about at 25th Street. It is out of traffic off on the right, so hopefully it'll be out of there pretty soon. On the westbound side, we got some backups from 27th Street through the Stadium interchange. Southbound on 43, backing up from about North Avenue all the way down through the Marquette and over the high-rise bridge. Back on the brakes from about Lapham all the way to the KK River crossing. Northbound 43, you're seeing delays from Kilbourne all the way up to Keefe. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, breezy with a low of 42. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, breezy, a high of 53. Weather is brought to you by Avondale Roofing. Raise the roof and your standards with Avondale Roofing, your trusted partner for over 30 years. Remember, they get on top so you don't have to. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
The best source for every piece of NFL news you need to know.
That's the idea of a deal. Each side gets wins, right? They have Jordan Love under contract for the next 5 years.
ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter is on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy every Wednesday morning at 7:30. Sponsored by Island Resort and Casino.
I think Packers fans would sign up for 12-5 today, and maybe they will be.
Right here on 94.5 ESPN, and also streaming live on the Wisconsin On Demand app and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Who's the
Looking for a deal? Well, Cousin Subs has a better deal just for you. Cousin's new $10 meal deals are now available online only. Choose between a 7.5-inch ham and provolone, turkey breast, or veggie sub, a bag of chips or regular fry, a regular fountain beverage, and cookie at cousinsubs.com or on the mobile app for just $10. Now that's a better deal. Cousin Subs, we believe in better. Available at participating locations only. Offer subject to change without notice.
Hey, this is Mike from Infinity Exteriors. Buying a roof, siding, or windows can feel overwhelming. Hidden costs, confusing contracts. We don't play that game. We educate you so that you can decide. And when you know the facts, Infinity Exteriors is the clear choice. Since 1997, we've installed peace of mind with no surprise upcharges, flexible budgets, and immediate financing. Infinity Exteriors, saving our communities from unscrupulous contractors. Visit infinityexteriors.com.
It's time to show off your skills and earn a pair of Bucks tickets for the regular season finale April 13th. Now's the time of year when we're all trying to get buckets. At home, on the driveway, in the gym, or even in the office. Send us a video of your best hoops trick shots. Use hashtag Bucks Trick Shot and show us what you've got. It's the Bucks Trick Shot Contest. Send your shots now through April 8th on Twitter at ESPN Milwaukee using hashtag Bucks Trick Shot.
Wherever you are in Wisconsin, there's a free and confidential Aging and Disability Resource Center, ADRC, or Tribal Partner Agency. We're here for older adults, adults with disabilities, and your families. ADRCs are a bridge to support for benefits and financial assistance, transportation, in-home care, and more. Get to know your local ADRC and connect with resources today. Call toll-free 1-844-WIS-ADRC or go to findmyadrc.org. Paid for by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance, like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
This is the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN. It's time for Jason Wilde on the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Everybody should get Jason Wilde every day of the year. All you do is WisconsinOnDemand.com, and then you see Wilde, and then there are 8 million comments from Jason Wilde on every show. Not 8 million, but close. And now it is time to bring on Jason Wilde because I want intense commentary and information about Xavier McKinney and what he has said about Jair Alexander. I did see something on Twitter where they were together or working out, or I know Jason has the more accurate information. Good afternoon, Jason.
Yeah, most importantly, though, I got gas for $2.89 at Costco. So I know you were pretty excited about your gas this morning.
I was amazed the difference was 30 cents. Now, when I went back to the first one that was $3.29, it had dropped to $3.09, but it was a 30-cent difference between two different gas stations, which...
Yeah, and I was happy for you that you got such a great deal. So, congratulations.
Thank you.
I don't know anything that he has said recently about Jair Alexander. Did I miss something today?
I don't know. There's some stuff on Instagram.
Well,
he just showed them working out together in the
yes,
here. Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah. And so, I would say this. I would say that since he arrived, Xavier McKinney, I think he's been a pretty positive influence on Ja, and I think one of the reasons why the Packers were hopeful last year that Jair had kind of put the madness of 2023 behind him was not just that he learned from his suspension, which he said he had, but also that Xavier McKinney was a really good influence on him. I think they've authentically felt that way. And so to see them together today working out, I don't want to be poo-pooing that. Like, as you well know, because when you do it, it irritates me. I do not do the 0%, 100%, because I just don't. I don't think you can ever be 100% about just about anything, other than not running out of gas. There's never an excuse for that. There's a gauge. Pay attention. But in Jair's case, I still think that from Goody's perspective, he just doesn't want to go through this potentially go through this for a third straight year of questions about his availability. And so, I've told this story before, but in talking with somebody who works in the building, they're like, hey man, this guy can still play. And I said, when he plays. No one disputes that when he's healthy, he can still play really good football. He did it last year. He had the pick six in Tennessee. He had an interception in the opener against Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. Like, no one is saying that he's washed. It's can he stay healthy? And on top of that, whether it's fair or not, and you have touched on this on multiple occasions, there was at least a perception based on the way they handled it that he was malingering and that he could have played and didn't, which, as I said at the time, I am never comfortable with that. Like, I don't want any part of being that guy. But it is part of my job that if there are people that are thinking that, to relate that, and I did. And I think that's a bad look. I also think that Matt LaFleur was have scarred, if you will, from having dealt with the Bakhtiari situation. And so I think that was part of the equation as well of, I just went through this with Bakhtiari, this will he or won't he play business. And I think LaFleur's kind of default setting became, all right, let's just rule him out. Okay? At least I know that I won't have him then, and I'm not getting my hopes up. I'm not altering game plans because, whether it's fair or not, and again, Matt LaFleur never said this to me. This is my interpretation. But I think he was pretty pissed about the Chicago thing, that they worked him out beforehand. He said that he could go. He played 10 snaps and then said he couldn't go anymore. And whether or not he re-injured that knee, whatever the reason was that he couldn't go, I don't think Matt LaFleur was super interested in the reason. I think he was just mad that you gave me 10 snaps and then you bailed on us. And that's not fair, but that's, I think, the way he saw it. And so my point is that, whether it's LaFleur or it's Goody or it's both, I think they all feel the same way. This guy could still play. He can still be a really good player for us. Doesn't tackle the way he used to ever since that shoulder injury, but he's an excellent cover man. But if we don't know if we're going to have him from week to week or we're only going to have him for 7 games, then I'd rather try and find somebody else. And I think that's ultimately what the bottom line will be. But I was encouraged, and I at least created a tiny or a slightly larger amount of doubt than I'd had from the tiny amount of doubt I had about him being released. Now maybe instead of it being a 5% chance that he's sticking around, maybe it's a 9% chance, but it's still pretty low.
I'll join your club. I want to know if you want to join my club.
Probably not.
Mine would be, I would tell Goody. I just want to know what Xavier McKinney thinks. I bring Xavier McKinney in and say, Xavier, should we have him on the team this year? Whatever he says, I'm going with. If he says yes, I don't even need I don't need a discussion. I don't need a meeting other than to ask that question. Xavier, do you want and do you think the team's better with Jair on the team this year? He says yes, he's coming back.
I think I'll join that club on a provisional basis. I mean, I would, if I was Goody, I would press Xavier McKinney on that, though. I'd be like, look, man, like, we believe that you are a great influence on him, but what happened last year, I don't care what you think. If I'm going to go through that again, and you have to be straight with me, like, was there any point as his teammate where you had questions I know you wouldn't feel good if you had those.
And I would interrupt him as I do.
Me.
I would say, GM, I would like to think that for me to say yes, that you respect that I would factor in all those things. There's no way that you should look at me and think I would say yes if I haven't factored all of those things and still come up with my answer.
Yeah, I wonder how clear-cut his answer would be. Though.
I know. I don't. I would.
That's the other part of it.
That's
like,
why I have one person
Xavier,
I'd like to ask him.
Yeah. Because here's the follow-up I would ask Xavier. Well, yeah, I knew that's what you meant.
But I wanted to make sure for those 6 people of the million that didn't know. Yes, I went. You.
Because here, look, I have a for a guy that I've only covered for a year, I have a terrific relationship with him, with Xavier. It all started with me telling him the story of me comparing him to Woodson in terms of his magnetic personality and the impact he had on his teammates, and Tausch crushing me for it. And then he ends up going and having a Charles Woodson-esque season, right? And so then I obviously I talked to Charles and I did a story and he ended up seeing that. And so we have a I really like working with him. We're not friends. We don't hang out, et cetera. But I do think we have the kind of relationship where, and I've actually utilized it, where I think our conversations, I can go to him and say, hey, tell me if I'm off base here. And so, and off the record, he can say, yeah, no, you're not wrong. Or, yeah, actually, here's what's going on. And so I appreciate players that are willing to do that, and he's one of them. Now, what I would say is I don't want to say reservation, would be that I think Xavier McKinney really wants it to work with Jair. I think he really likes him. I think he feels like they have a connection. And I think that he would probably say yes. And then if for some reason things went south, which has happened with Jair and with people, I'm not saying go south with Xavier McKinney, but go south with the season. I would wonder if Jair would, if Xavier would end up feeling like, man, I kind of went to bat for you, and now I'm the one who looks kind of bad with the way this went, right? So I would be curious if there were no strings attached, how he would answer your question, but I would be at least a little bit leery that as good of a dude as he is and as honest as I think he would be, I think there would also potentially be a small part of him that wants to believe the best in the guy and would be subject to getting burned, if that makes sense.
No, it totally makes sense. I think you would also be comfortable saying, I don't need an explanation from you. I just need a yes or no. Would you?
Yeah, and the difference between you and I is that I don't think it's ever yes or no. Like there are shades of gray even on this.
Of course.
And I think even for him,
right?
I think there's a chance that he would do to you what I'm doing to you now, which is there's a chance he would hedge. Because I just don't think, based on how things have played out over the last 2 years, that anyone can say with any degree of certainty or confidence that they would put their reputation on the line to say, yeah, bring him back. I'm saying that as someone who, by the way, I really like Jair. I believe in him as a player. I also believe, like I think you do, that last year, the way that played out and the way it was handled, and he certainly didn't help. He could have talked to us more often and gotten his story out, but he would argue that he shouldn't have to do that. But if I was him, I'd have been irritated, right, with kind of the innuendo and how, they did not do a great job of protecting him. They kind of showed their frustration with him. Now, I will say this, his teammates, Xavier McKinney, Keyshawn Nixon, they did a much better job of protecting him. The first thing out of their mouths would be, well, he's hurt. He can't play. He's injured. So they left no room for interpretation when they would talk about their teammate, and that wasn't necessarily the case when others spoke.
And I would say our discussion speaks to the respect I have for Xavier McKinney, because I don't think that he would ever say yes unless he felt that it was better for the team. But I might be giving him too much credit.
No, I would agree. But then the problem is that I think he would give you a shade of gray answer. And I don't think you would get him to say an unequivocal yes. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know him as well as you, but I think he might do that for you in private. That's one of the skills you have.
Tausch wanted me to get him on the show anyway, so I guess now I'll have to text him now, because now you need him. You need something from him too.
No, I'm.
No, it's a great question. I love this question. I sincerely do. I don't know the answer.
And I don't know that. You always say you're too nice. I don't know that Goody would look at it that way, but I would, and I would look at it that way if I was LaFleur. I'd say, what are we going to do with Jair? Because we all saw a better Jair, and assume it was because of McKinney.
Yeah. Now there's a club that I mean, not exclusively because of McKinney, because I do want to believe that people can grow and learn from their mistakes. And I do think that Jair deserves the benefit of saying, hey, I was an idiot. I was pissed that Matt LaFleur didn't even know that we were going back to my hometown, and he didn't make me a captain. And LaFleur would be able to say, yeah, but I didn't even know if you're going to play because you hadn't played, right? But they could have that would be an instance of probably both sides needed to do a better job of communicating. But regardless, the fact that he took the next step of just going out there for the coin toss was a bridge too far. And I think he would say, and I think he has said, that was he learned from that. That was a mistake by him. He shouldn't have done that. And I didn't think he was saying it just to be, pretend to be contrite. I've been fooled by players before. I do not have a perfect track record on that.
Not often.
But I've been fooled by a few though, and I did think he was authentic in that when he told us that. So, for what it's worth, I would say that I think he did learn from that. I do think Xavier McKinney was a very positive influence on him, but in the end, my gut tells me it's still not going to be enough, and he's not going to be on this team. And if I'm wrong, great, because the guy's a damn good football player when he's out there.
Yeah, I know. I think you're going to be right. But the other question would be as to how many games would he have to play? Even if you want him, he's still, and my answer is of 17, if he comes back and plays 9, I'm happy. That 9 is enough for me to want him on the team. I don't know what Xavier's answer to that would be or what yours would be.
I would say I would want more.
All
now, right. I guess the question would also become though, are we counting playoff games?
No, I'm counting 17 regular season. He's got to
look at 23. Like, for as bad as things were in 23, and as dysfunctional everything was, and he got the suspension and everything else, he had an enormous play in the playoff game.
Yep.
Right. He had an interception, and so I will accept 9 regular season if you can guarantee me him playing in any or all playoff games that I have. If you're not going to guarantee me that, which obviously nothing is guaranteed,
I would guarantee that. Yes,
I'm saying 12. Yeah. I want 12 games from him.
All right, but but you would take 9 and all playoff games.
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Yep.
Any other note of the Packers that I didn't even ask about?
Yeah, I'm sitting down to write a story about the things that Mark Murphy said at the NFL meetings about it, it being his last one and everything else. But I think
what's your best memory of Mark Murphy? Or do you want to wait till the next time we talk?
Him and I. No, this will be a short one. Him and I both leaving the practice field at training camp at the same time. and him going into the Hudson Center to then walk through the Hudson Center and then leave that way so he didn't have to walk next to me, I think was my favorite.
Mine would be, I have no impressive memory at all. I can't think of anything in his entire time. I mean, I respect him for being the front for the NFL. He served that role well, but I have no memory of Mark Murphy. Other than that, I think he needed.
He's a complicated fella.
Yeah, but that's about
him
another
going down
player.
the
But that's not about. That didn't hit me as much as the other people. I always thought he needed a new hairpiece. Like that is a.
No, I think. You think that's fake?
Do you think that's his real
You're
hair?
the expert. You had one.
No, I don't know. It's just that he needed to do better with his hair. No, I don't. I guess that about Rodgers, but it was just a comment. I don't. You never thought, hey, it's just with Bob Harlan every day, and you met Harlan. You're just so impressed with how he did everything. There was nothing about the way Murphy did things that impressed you. Nothing. Doesn't mean he was bad, but impressed. No, I don't ever remember going, wow, yeah, president of the Green Bay Packers.
I don't remember a time where I ever wondered, boy, what is Bob Harlan going to say? And obviously there were a few times, but in fairness to him, as you pointed out, give him credit. He was brilliant in terms of their business. He and I disagree vehemently on a few things, including ticket prices being raised every year, and you don't disagree with him on that.
I do not.
But the biggest thing is that he was a good steward for the organization. He didn't. I don't think they didn't win a Super Bowl with his people, right? I mean,
but he didn't screw it up.
But he didn't screw it up. That's exactly right.
All right, thanks, Jason.
All right, Homer, take care. Be good.
There'll be other times. And if Mark Murphy would have impressed me the most if in the Hall of Fame he would say, I'm not going in alone. I want somebody else with me. That would have impressed me. Tim Van Voren, not next, but soon.
The Homer Hour is back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Northbound on 43, backing up right out of the Marquette all the way up towards Keith. Southbound slowing down from North Avenue down through the Marquette and over the high-rise bridge, heading down towards Chase. Then we've got westbound on 94, slowing down from about 25th Street all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. Eastbound's just a little bit backed up right through the Stadium Interchange. And then there's some debris on 894 southbound, just south of the Zoo Interchange, off on the left shoulder, so that might be slowing things down through the interchange itself. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, partly cloudy, breezy, a low of 42. Tomorrow, partly cloudy and breezy, a high of 53. Weather is brought to you by Lake Lawn Resort. Tee off at Lake Lawn Resort's Majestic Oaks Golf Course. 18 holes, lakeside in Delavan. Whether you're a pro or just starting, it's the perfect course. Book your tee time today at lakelawnresort.com. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Take me out to the ball game, roll out the barrel, and get up, get out of here, gone. There's nothing like Milwaukee baseball. The Brew Crew is back, and we're here to help you turn your tailgate or game viewing experience into a grand slam. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor, where since 1960 we have provided the best selection and the lowest prices. We stock literally thousands of varieties of beer, liquor, wine, and mixers. Over 15,000 actually, but who's counting? The point is, you want it, odds are we have it. Combine our incredible selection and everyday low prices with our 2 convenient locations, and you've got your one-stop shop for game day. Discount Liquor in Milwaukee on 51st in Oklahoma, only 10 minutes from AmFam Field, and in downtown Waukesha on Barstow and Main.
Discount Liquor.
Hey, ready to
sweeten your game? It's time for Quick Trip's Nature's Touch Ice Cream. Ooh, making moves like the starting lineup of a championship team. Whether you're gearing up for the big game, celebrating a win, or just looking for a sweet break in the action. Chocolate, vanilla, cookies and cream, mint chocolate chip, and more. Yeah, there's no such thing as a bad pick. So why wait? Flavor doesn't scoop itself. Get your hands on your winning Nature's Touch Ice Cream flavor today. Only at Quick Trip.
Home practice is about to begin. Your daughter's new tap shoes? Loud. Your son's new tuba? Louder. But you got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with $50 overdraft Greystone. So if you lose track of expenses buying some noise-canceling and sanity-saving headphones, we've got your back. You got this with $50 overdraft Greystone from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Big trucks can be intimidating. If you've been seriously injured in a truck crash, call Gruber Law Offices today. Trucking law can be extremely complicated. You don't want to take on the insurance company alone. Gruber Law Offices has the experience, the resources, and of course, the results. We know truck law. We know the rules and regulations. We know what it takes to win. Call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
A Brewers group outing is the best way to celebrate any special occasion. Whether it's a birthday party, anniversary, or bachelor party, baseball is better with a group. Grab your crew of just 15 or more for an event you won't forget. Brewers account reps make your day at the ballpark a breeze. Plus, get set up with customizable tailgate spaces, seating blocks in your favorite location at American Family Field, and much more. Start planning your group outing now at brewers.com/groups.
Rain Man is brought to you by Cousin Subs. Skip the line and order online with a Cousin Subs mobile app and join the Cousins Club. Cousin Subs, they believe in better. You're listening to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Tim Van Boren coming up soon. Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin. On Forest Home in Franklin. Family business owned since 1931. It's not what they do, it's who they are. That's why I support them, because they're so good. And then when they like you, eventually they'll like me. Hey, Homer, thanks. It's not at the top of the list, but Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin. Don't give the address often enough. Expert workmanship guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. You got an auto body place now, forever, for your kids forever. And Fisco, so you remember the name. ESPN's Fantasy Football Focus podcast is coming to Green Bay on April 23rd. A live show at the Tundra Trio. ESPN Wisconsin wants to send you and a friend up to Green Bay to see the show happen live. Right now, caller number 4. Caller number 4, 1-800-990-3776, wins 2 tickets to ESPN's Fantasy Focus Football live at the Tundra Trio. See the show up close, meet all the hosts, and get complimentary food and drinks. Yeah, and Fantasy Focus Football Podcast merchandise. Caller 4, 1-800-990-3776. Visit ESPNWisconsinContest.com for full details. And yes, how long? Half hour south of Franklin. Half hour south of Franklin. Did I tell you it's a half hour south of Franklin? You know I'm mentioning American Place Casino. It's located in Lake County, Illinois. It's actually 38 minutes south of Franklin if you want to be exact. Exciting table games, slot machines, sports book, great bars and restaurants, fantastic food, and all these kind of specials. Play $500 on us promotion. You go to AmericanPlace.com to get all that info. But American Place Casino, I'm sick and tired, Homer, of you telling me it's just a half hour south of Franklin. Did I tell you it's just a half hour south of Franklin? A half hour south of Franklin, American Place Casino. 38 minutes if you want to be exact. Tim Van Boren, Fox 6 Sports. Next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN. It doesn't matter if it's your first betting slip ever or just the first one of the week. We've got your Potawatomi sportsbook picks covered. Tune in Wednesdays to the Weekly Wager with Greg Matzik, Ben Brust, and Jen Latta.
If someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything, you take it.
The Weekly Wager, Wednesday nights at 6, right here on 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube channel.
Finding the right seat for a Milwaukee Bucks game is easy with our Seat for You guide. Whether you're on a budget, need flexibility with your schedule, or want to bring the whole crew, we've got options to fit your needs. The best part? You just have to answer a few quick questions at bucks.com/seat for you. No matter what you're looking for, there's a seat with your name on it. Find the ticket option that works best for you at bucks.com/seat for you.
Save big money on auto accessories at Menards. We have what you need to keep your vehicle looking like new. Give your car the care it needs with Turtle Wax Max Power Car Wash. It provides maximum strength cleaning. The more wash you use, the stronger the cleaning power becomes, giving your vehicle a showroom shine. Check out our wide selection of auto care accessories in store, or check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for more great deals.
Save big money at Menards.
Hey football fans, Verizon is giving you the chance to win the ultimate draft experience with the Road to the Draft sweepstakes. 10 lucky winners will win tickets for the first day of the 2025 draft in Green Bay, including round-trip car service from Milwaukee, hotel accommodations, plus access to the Verizon viewing zone where you'll be taken care of like a first-round pick. Don't miss your chance to win the ultimate draft experience powered by Verizon. Hurry to select Wisconsin Verizon locations to enter by April 13th. No purchase necessary to enter. Must be legal U.S. resident of Wisconsin or Illinois. Age 21 years or older. Void where prohibited. For official rules and full details, visit www.espnwisconsincontest.com.
Whether you're a local who wants to enjoy a night out or you're planning to visit Milwaukee, enjoy an artfully stylish experience at St. Kate the Arts Hotel, conveniently located in the heart of downtown Milwaukee's Theater District. With deluxe accommodations, culinary creativity, on-site art galleries, and nightly live music, you'll enjoy every element of your stay at St. Kate. For a limited time, enjoy exclusive seasonal rates starting at $139. Learn more and book your stay at stkatearts.com.
Why is life better with American Family Insurance? Because every policy comes with something very special. A trusted agent who's there to help protect your dreams by finding the right coverage at the right price. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Escape the city and relax at Lake Lawn Resort in beautiful Delavan, Wisconsin. Enjoy outdoor activities on Delavan Lake. Tee off at the lakeside Majestic Oaks Golf Course or unwind at the award-winning Calidora Spa. With both indoor and outdoor pools, there's fun for the whole family. Take a cruise on the Lake Lawn Queen. Explore stunning shores and historic landmarks and enjoy delicious food and drinks on board. Book your stay today at lakelawnresort.com, where everything is better at the lake.
For some children, a single surgery can turn an untreated cleft into a smile for life. But at Smile Train, we understand that most children need a little extra care. They need medical, dental, and emotional resources to grow healthy and strong, to express themselves clearly, and to navigate all of life's challenges so that their smiles light up the room as brightly as possible. Visit SmileTrain.org to learn how Smile Train is supporting the cleft community with lifelong smiles.
Welcome back to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN. The three most important letters in sports. Even better than those.
TVV.
It's Fox 6 Sports Director Tim Van Voren on the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Tim Van Voren, Fox 6 Sports, three-time Wisconsin Sportscaster of the Year. Hall of Fame wingman. He's won other things, but he won't tell us about them. And I haven't found out about them yet. All right. Xavier McKinney shows something with Jair Alexander. Does that increase your belief that Jair could come back, or is it still very, very, very slim?
I'm still in the slim camp, Homer, and maybe I'm missing something here. The longer this continues with Jair on the roster, as we talked about last week. Yep. Maybe it's moving in that direction. I just think it's a situation where the Packers don't want to give up Jair Alexander for nothing, and they believe that they won't have to if they, control his contract as long as possible.
Is there anything else at the top of your list? Do you get draft interest, or do you just wait until they pick the players?
You know what? I used to really crush all those draft guys. Bob McGinn, you'd read about every player in the draft, and you knew everything about him. And then 90% of it didn't matter because those guys went somewhere else. So I've got to change the approach to that a little bit. Obviously, you go to the combine. Some years you hear a little bit more ahead of time and you focus on those people. Sometimes you come away with a little bit more from the combine, or maybe you run into, somebody from the team that you spend a little time with. But then, they're going to put their stuff together and they're not going to leak anything. The Packers are not going to leak anything. They're certainly not going to leak anything to, Tim Van Voort on Fox 6 in Milwaukee. So, you just have to kind of read the tea leaves as best you can and approach it. And to me, this core of Packer decision makers has been the same for so long and has ties for so long, which is why, for instance, I don't, change it midstream on the Jair Alexander thing. He hasn't played enough games. Now we're getting him removed from the season, and you start to think, well, he's a good player and all this stuff. But the fact of the matter is he hasn't played enough games, and that's a big thing in the Packer mentality. So that's why I don't think he stays on the roster.
All right, as far as the draft, I've asked you this before, but I thought for a number of years it was bad drafts by Goody, but I think the last couple have been very good. Do you agree with my premise, and does that mean there are different people around, or how do you... I've looked specifically at wide receivers and tight ends. It was horrible, then it went from horrible to really good. How much of what I've said is accurate? And if so, why the change?
Well, maybe it's, player development on with the coaching staff.
Oh, okay.
I don't think you can toss that out. I think they have, you specifically mentioned wide receiver there and tight end. Now, they had a first-year wide receiver coach last year, Ryan Mahaffey, who's learning at that position, I think. I think that would be...
So have you been impressed by any of these assistant coaches?
Justin Vrabel is he's moving up in the business. There's no question about that. If Adam Stenavich were to leave, I'm sure he'd be the offensive coordinator here, or maybe he would get an offensive coordinator job somewhere else. And he had been the wide receiver coach previously. Now he's the passing game coordinator. He's direct emphasis with those perimeter players. John Dunn is the tight ends coach. Well, you work with Tucker Kraft, and you got a pretty good starting point right there. But they got some contributions from Luke Musgrave and Ben Sims. And I told you, I think last year. In training camp, I expected more from the tight end position last year going in. I thought that was going to be a strength for theirs. It wasn't as much of the position as I thought it was, but Kraft obviously was a major impact player.
Now, some discussion about at the meetings about we're going to have a battle at left tackle, which if I was the left tackle, Rasheed Walker, I'd be fine. I hear that every year. I'm going to be the starter up until you have to pay me big money, and then I know this is my last year. What's your analysis? That to me is simple. He's playing this year, and then he's done. And so they hope that their first-round pick is maybe ready by then, Jordan Morgan or something else. Take it away, TVV.
Well, you got a first-round pick who didn't play much last year at all. Mm-hmm. Either, you're trying to light a fire under him, or you believe in him, and he's on pace of where you need him to be. He's a first-round pick. You got to play your first-round picks, for goodness sakes. Last year, had 2 third-round picks who barely played. So that's a first. People talk about where should the new talent come from. Well, you have a first-round pick from a year ago barely played and 2 third-round picks. Those are high-pick players. Those are top 100 players.
Yes.
So on the offensive line, left tackle situation, I agree with you. Rasheed Walker has basically defeated all comers to this point. He's another guy who barely played his first year as a rookie, and then suddenly developed into a more than passable player. So, I think that's what the Packers do. Again, none of this is a change of philosophy for me, which is why until something really, really changes, keep going back to this is the way the Packers do things, whether it's the draft or whether it's, how they're going to construct a roster in the offseason.
I like it. I think Morgan could play anywhere, or it's like they have 6 starters. Do you agree with that theory?
I do. If I'm Sean Ryan, I'm thinking, well, what did I do last year to get put on the bench? I thought he was fine. You know what I mean? And he was a previous third-round pick, too. So they have guys that have the measurables. You don't get drafted high on the offensive line unless you have the measurables. So you have the measurables, and they're trying to light the fire under those guys. I think Adam Stenavich was a very good offensive line coach, and I think he still has influence on the offensive line in his role as offensive coordinator. So, I think they believe in their ability to develop, and it's hard to really go against that. Has every player developed? No, but have multiple players developed beyond their draft position over the last few draft classes? Yes. But don't erase what you said, Homer, about a couple of bad drafts, because they had a couple of drafts there where they, retained almost no one from the class. Jordan Love and Isaiah McDuffie, and that's about it.
Yeah, and the other answer to me is Rasheed Walker. If I'm not the starter, I tell him, just release me. I got to go play somewhere else. I got to go somewhere where I'm playing, and I think I'm good enough to start in this league as I get ready in my contract year, right? I don't. Well,
he's not. They're not going to release this because he's not making a ton of money this year. If they haven't decided that they're going to extend him or give him a major bump salary-wise, then you just keep him and sit on him as a versatile player who you can bring in, this year, and then you're going to have to wave him goodbye. But I don't think they've made that decision yet. I think they want to see what Jordan Morgan looks like at tackle and or guard in the off-season workouts.
Do you have anything on him in his scouting bureau?
Yeah, don't know. I mean, that's an uncertain. That's an uncertain to this point.
And lastly, I made a wager that I believe there will be a Packer receiver with 1,000 yards this year, assuming that I get to add the tight ends. Just don't ask me who it's going to be, but somebody will get to 1,000 yards. You want to join my club or not?
I think I will, Homer. I think last year they went with wide receiver by committee. And I think they realized maybe you have to approach it differently. You have to push someone to the fore as your main guy at tight end, as your main guy at wide receiver. I would assume that would be Kraft and Reed.
All right, always a treat. Thanks for the time.
See you, Homer.
All right, it's time again. Less than an hour from Green Bay, less than 2.5 hours from Milwaukee, 2 hours and 18 minutes. 8 retail locations. One is 19 seconds over the border. Higher Love, the only UP cultivator offering organic, clean, green certified products, which means you can count on us to provide them the only good stuff and none of the bad stuff. Yes, remember, Higher Love. Less than an hour from Green Bay. To Potawatomi, next.
We've got some backups along northbound 43, starting around Fond du Lac Avenue all the way up towards Keefe. Southbound is going to be